Today we're covering Pythagoras Theorem, and by the end of this video you'll be able to do any question on it. I'm Josh from Strong Students, where my brother and I help ambitious GCSE students master English and maths. Well, Pythagoras Theorem really isn't that complicated. One day this very smart man or woman, I'm not too sure, came up with the theorem and said that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are interchangeable, which means it doesn't matter which way round they are, as long as you label c correctly. C is the side which is opposite to the right angle, which is called the hypotenuse. This is also very important to know for when we do trigonometry together, okay? So that is it. That is the theorem. What makes Pythagoras somewhat difficult is when we have C and we don't have A or B, which is what we have in this example here. So first thing to do is figure out where C is. Do we have C? Yes, we do. We have C, and I'm going to label 8 as A. So we need to find QR, which we've labelled as B. So let's plug this into the formula. 8 squared is A squared plus B squared equals C squared, which is 16 squared. So now we need to calculate what each of these values are. What is 8 squared? Well, that's 64. B squared is B squared. And what is 16 squared? I don't know that off the top of my head. So I'm going to quickly use my calculator. 16 squared is 256. So now we have an equation to solve. We need to solve for B. So if we're solving for B, we're going to do 256 minus 64. Minus 64. 256 minus 64 is 192. So now we have 192 equals B squared. So how can we find B? We take the square root of both sides. If you're confused by this, go back to my previous video on solving equations, which I'll link somewhere on the screen. So B equals the square root of 192. So what is the square root of 192? Yes, it is 8 root 3, but it wants it to 2 decimal places. So 8 root 3 to do 2 decimal places is 13.86. So that is your first answer. Okay, so we're finding YZ, so this is C. This is quite a nice one because we're finding the hypotenuse. We don't need to do any rearranging or subtracting. We're just going to do A squared. I'm going to label this as A, this as B. A squared is 3.2 squared plus 1.7 squared equals C squared. So let me put that in the calculator quickly and I'll get back to you. So this is supposedly 13.13 equals C squared. So how do we find C? Yes, we square root both sides. So the square root of 13.13 equals C. Was it to 3 significant figures? 13.13, so root is 3.62. So that's our final answer for this one, okay? So we need to figure out the length AC. So I'm just going to draw a dotted line as best as possible. We need to find AC, and the problem here is that we don't have this length BC, because if we had BC, then we could do Pythagoras on this. I also want to mention, I should have mentioned this earlier, that Pythagoras is only applicable on right-angled triangles, meaning it has to have a right angle here, and the hypotenuse is the side which is opposite the right angle. So a good thing to do here is to find this length along here. Because if we find that length, then we can shift it down and we can say that is also x. So we're finding, if I draw the triangle here, we know that this is 10, and then 9 minus 3 would give you this length on the left, which would be 6. So we can find this length now by doing Pythagoras. So this is C, this is A, so we can say that 6 squared plus B squared, we're going to find B, equals 10 squared. So 6 squared is 36 plus B squared equals 100. Well, B squared equals 100 minus 36, which is 64. And what is the square root of 64? Fantastic. 8. Okay, so we know this length is 8. So therefore x is now 8. So we can draw that larger triangle and we can do Pythagoras again. So drawing this triangle here, A, B, C, this is 8, this is 9, and how do we find AC? Well, we're going to do Pythagoras. We're going to do 8 squared plus 9 squared equals C squared, because this is A and B. Well, 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 81, 64 plus 81 is 145. So that is C squared. So how do we find C? Well, we do the square root of 145, which is C. Okay, and the square root of 145 to 3 significant figures is 12.0, so just 12. I'm going to put 12.0 to show that we've rounded it. Congratulations, you've now mastered Pythagoras Theorem. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to drop a like down below and share it with a friend. And also feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to support mine and my brother's mission in helping students like yourself achieve the best grades they possibly can. Simply put, without your support, we could not help students achieve the goals academically and personally that they want to achieve. So thank you so much for your support. Please also comment down below what you want me to make a video on next, and also check out some of our other videos to keep on improving your GCSE maths and English skills. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.